All right, welcome back to Lunch with Ricky. And now for the dessert. A new segment here on Lunch with Ricky. We talked about it earlier in the show. We talked about it a little last week. The H1 journey. And that's right, the life of an H1 here in the United States. Now, what's an H1, you ask? Great question. Now, let's take a step backwards, shall we? Now, currently, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are about 3 million South Asians here in the United States, half of which moved here between 1990 and today. Now, if you do some math, according to the Census Bureau, between 2000 and 2006, the U.S. population grew about 7%, just 7%. The South Asian community grew over 100%. Now, there is no doubt the main driver behind that is that companies here in Silicon Valley, here in the United States, began opening themselves up for talent overseas, intellectual talent, worthy talent. Naturally, then the countries of, or citizens of South Asia decided to come here. But vice versa, those Indians and those South Asians wanted to come here to taste that American dream, to hear that American dream, that feel that American dream that they heard about. And driving all of this is our favorite term, H-1B. What is the H-1B? That's what you're asking. The H-1B is a non-immigrant visa here in the U.S. under the Immigration and Nationality Act. It allows U.S. employers to temporarily employ foreign workers in specialty occupations. Now, another stat. According to the Department of Homeland Security, 25% of all H-1s in 2005 were South Asian. Now, that's a high number. So now, living here, Anu and I, we get to see one side. We get to see the American side and how we live our lives. We get to work with H1s, but we never really take a moment to see what life is like for the H1. So we thought it'd be interesting to have in our studio here the H1 side of the American dream and the process it took to make America home. And to talk about it in our studio, we have our resident H1, Mr. Sunil Ranka. Sunil, welcome to the studio.
Hey, thanks, Ricky.
So we're gonna have a little fun here. We're gonna be light. I gave you all these stats, and talking to Sunil, we had a bunch of stories, and we thought we'd give some. So I got to ask Sunil, how long have you been here in the U.S.?
A little over 10 years now.
10 years.
Yep.
And you're here based in the Silicon Valley.
Yes, for most part of it.
So let's get started. What inspired you, or what was that desire for you to come here to the U.S.?
Oh, U.S., United States of America. 10 years back, the equation was totally different. Coming to U.S. was the dream for anybody who's doing his engineering back home. Because jobs, opportunities were there, but not those many. And if you are in a software industry, Silicon Valley was a mecca, and you want to be here. It's like if you're playing cricket, you need to play in Lodge. That's how it is. And we always thought that, in the moment you get an H-1B, you are a millionaire because the dollars are lying on the road.
They're on the street, right?
Everyone
can pick them up.
Yeah, you just come out. There are dollars all over the place. And not $1, it's like 100 bills of $100. So that's how it was. And it was a by default choice. I think most of the people who were into the software field, they wanted to come to the United States.
So now let's talk about this. So you want to come to the United States, but there's a process to come to the United States. And first thing first is to get the visa. So what's that process like sitting in India, you're from India, to get that visa?
Oh, I would say winning $1 million was easier than getting a US H-1 visa. I mean, I don't know whether you know or not, but in Hyderabad there is a temple which is called H-1B visa temple. So what happens is people go there. I don't know the exact process because I'm from Bombay, but I have like a lot of friends who are from Hyderabad, and they say if you do not pray there, the chances are pretty bright that you may not be getting it. And that's how it is. So there is a visa temple, so you can understand the intensity and the, what do you call, the favorism or the intensity for getting the visa. And the visa process is totally amok. It's like totally different between now and 10 years back. 10 years back, it was like you get up at 3:30 in the morning, you go to the consulate, and you stand in the line at 4:30, expecting you will get a chance to enter the consulate at 7:30 in the morning. And it's like totally different process there. And there is small economies all around the place because it's just in the air of that consulate in Bombay. A tea would cost you $100 there, 100 rupees. a newspaper which will cost like 2 rupees they will charge you like say 200 rupees there, and
So
they're
the
like,
business.
yeah, it's like totally different business. And the most important person in your life that day is the guard outside the American consulate, because he's the one who's going to let you in, or he's going to make or break your life. So it's like totally different. You can't even imagine
It's
that.
like a bouncer at a nightclub.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. So you stand outside the American consulate, you can visualize American consulate as the temple, and the guard is the god. So you can understand what we are
So
talking
you did
about.
the puja and everything around.
Oh
it.
yeah, all the time.
So you're standing in line and you've paid these hundreds and thousands of rupees to get your newspaper and your chai. And let's say you've gotten your visa now. Hopefully it's a good process.
Well, there's another thing is it's like this. If you take a break for the restroom, think about the process as the Thanksgiving sale. You're standing outside the Best Buy whole night. There are only 10 laptops, and the guy will come and just hand out like 10 of the coupons. But if you have taken a restroom break, you're not going to get the laptop, so you have to wait for another year outside Best Buy. So think about that.
So no susu break.
No susu break. Right? I mean, susu is the big deal. So no susu break basically.
Interesting. Okay. So
And that's the reason the rain helped them.
Interesting. Okay. So you got your visa. How do you? What's next? How do you get ready to get here then? Here in the U.S.
Okay. So that's totally different. So first of all, you are inside the consulate, waiting anxiously when your number will be called. Immigration officer will talk to you. 30-second make and break. You get your visa, and you're still stunned because you can't believe it, because you got a visa for USA, which is United States of America. And then, oh my God! So now you got it. You pinch yourself. You come out. And the very first thing you do it outside Bombay consulate, it's a Mahalakshmi Mandir. So you go to the Devi and say, thank God, you really helped me. And then you come back home and you start calling furiously all your friends and family. And then all of a sudden you're a star. Even though you never did, you got like fail, or you call it F in United States, right? You always got F in your grade and your classroom. But just because you got a United States visa, you are an overnight star. Everybody will say, oh, you know what? Sunil Ranka, such a bright kid. So that's how it is. It's like totally different ball game. So that's how it is. So yeah, so you do all this stuff, and then you start calling, and you just because you like to be in the news for next few days, because you're going to leave in next few days. So that's how it is.
So then how do you pack?
Oh, packing is another. I think I would like to write a book, 101 before and after H1. So how do you pack? Okay, so very first thing, 60 or 70 or 80%, I do not have the regular stats, but the moment a guy gets an H1B, he would rush and buy a leather jacket.
Leather jacket, okay.
Yeah, he'll buy a leather jacket, couple of leather belts as well. So there's a place called Dharavi in Bombay, and you'll just go and buy from
And why a leather jacket?
It's cheap there. That's why you will go to Dharavi.
But
Oh,
why
why
you-
leather jacket?
Yeah,
I do not know yet. I'm still in the
because you're a
figure.
rock star now because he's a bright kid.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
10 years back, Shah Rukh Khan used to wear in Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge.
then
Maybe that is the reason.
that's what we
I'm
do
not
in the
sure
US.
about it yet. Yeah. So yeah, you buy leather jacket, you buy all chaddi banyans, because you think America is expensive, and the next thing is